Yes, family, large up yourself, big up yourself. It's your host, Selector Selah Shalom on the one and tunes, one and twos. You know how we do. It survives. Yes, as we move forward, create a speed. Indeed. Let's turn up our roll up speed. You dig? It survives. Yes, family. It survives. Yes, Selah Shalom on the one and twos. You know what I mean? I'm your selector. Gotta get into it. You know how we do. The quick pause for the family. Afternoon vibes. My man will be swift. Dig? Yeah, yo. It survives. Yeah, man. Peace to the family. Peace to the righteous gods and goddesses. Your boy Selah Shalom just chiming in for a hot second. You know how we do. It's a vibes. You know what I mean? Hope you enjoying your afternoon. No particular topic at hand. Just want to talk my talk. Shout out to the gods and goddesses. Yes, ma'am. Yes, sir. Who we have in the chat? Where's that? Bazella, where's that big man? Jawi, Messiah. Awaken to the truth. Pam, what's good, Sistren? With them consistent videos in the morning. That soulful revelation still. Abba girls. All right. Abba girl, father girl. Dreadful, where's that big man? Ima, large up yourself. Big up yourself. Big up to the family. Peace to the righteous God. Honor and humility, my bedroom Malaka Maccabea. Run up into the building, yeah? Run the rhythm. Yeah, man, you know. Shout out to the God Malachi Maccabee for a victory over the other cat over the debate over Paul, you know what I mean? Easy work, easy work. Now the guy got another debate coming up. Dealing with, what is it? Atheism versus creator? One of the two, or God? One of the two. That's going to be interesting, you know what I mean? The more and more I realize that when it comes to cosmology, the creator and the God concepts, man, we run that department. A lot of niggas may beat us in the history and the comedic and the this and the that, but when it comes to that higher source who you praying to, who you think is creator, and it's a deity, nigga, we run that department. Dig? We run that department. You know what I mean? Peace to the creator gang, yo. I seen some of that debate with what's his name, Shaka and Cesariot. Yeah, nigga, we caught some of that debate. You caught some of that debate. The crazy thing, man, it seems like these cats is having a hard time with Cesariot, yo. I'm like, damn. Sarnetta don't know the only what's that? The cornerstone that the builders rejected. Nigga, that's us. I could take down Tazariot. Put them niggas got up on a chopping block and see how quick them niggas get taken down, yo. Niggas talking about what's better for the black community today, the comedic literature, or the biblical writing. The whole biblical belief is based off the God system. Your lifestyle is based off your God. Muslims could say they have a better a practical living system or writing literature that is better for the black community today. Every religion could come out and make that thing, and make that claim. The Christians can, Muslims can. Because in every piece of literature, there is literature that could help sustain a community, that could got laws, statutes, and commandments, what to do, what not to do. Shaka showed some of that. in the post-debate. And we know the Bible is full of what to do and what not to do. But all that is based off of God telling you to do that. So you may have a better system for black people, but that system may be restricted because your God is restricted. You hate Esau, you hate Ham. You ain't fucking with the other nations, but you got the best system for black people. That ain't gonna work. If niggas ain't gonna feed the African children, how are we gonna have a system for black people? Because when we talk about black folks is characterized as all nationalities in the black family. Nigerian, Ghana, Congolese, South African. If you black, you black. Nigga, no matter what tribe you coming from. But nonetheless, them niggas having a hard time with Tazariak, yo, and that's quite interesting. You know, I'm just a spectator watching. You know what I mean? To me, it's like, I'm waiting for the next nigga to get put on the chopping block. I may have to call on Sonetta TV again to see what's good. Last time I called in, he found me opponent, he ran. I'm like, damn, it's just information. And I ain't saying I'm the coldest or baddest nigga at that either. I just know what I got to bring to the table when it comes to these concepts of who is God, what is an angel, who was an angel, what is Lord God, what is Lord. What's up? Yeah. Yeah, so what happened to G-Con? Malachi Maccabee put right here. I don't know. Hope to God okay. But that was going to be the debate. I'd have called up to see who would want to take that debate. God, what was the name of the debate? Is God a deity or the creator? And that's just the first debate to open up a can of worms. I just want to show and prove, because once they put me in the chopping block and I prove that God is a deity and an angel and all that, and not the creator, now that opens a can of worms. That opened the whole world of whoop ass now. Because now, if I prove, according to the text, that the God you serve is a deity, now you got to question what deity you've been following. Who is this deity? Is this deity righteous or unrighteous? Those the question that comes next. After we expose that your God is a deity and you acknowledge that, the next question is, well, who is your God? Because there are many gods. There are lords many, and there are gods many. Bible say that. There is no competition. That's right. No doubt. Ain't no competition. Niggas know that. Because honestly, if this was easy work, niggas would have been caught the nigga out, put nigga on chopping block. Say, let's get them niggas. Easy. But all them niggas don't want to take that debate about God versus the creator. It's got a deity. No, that should be, it's got a deity. Because a lot of these Israelites do acknowledge that God is a deity. But they're blindfolded. They're blinded to the fact that this deity is not the creator. Now that's where they're going to have a problem at. They'll accept that their God is a man, but they cannot accept that their God is not the creator. That's where we're going to get them at. God is a king. Show you some, let me give you some wisdom. Creative vibes. Load on some of this good gas, you dig? All right, so let's go to the book of divinity real quick. Let me see. All right. He said, God is king. Jeremiah replies back, Jehovah is king. Well, let's get some chapter and verses for the inquisitive minds. You dig? Let's go to the book of, let's see if this is the book of, let's see if it's here. Now the brethren say, what I'm saying? Man, I'm say, yo, God is king. Yeah, man. Then y'all come back with the slam dunk and say, nah, brethren, hold up. Creator is king. Yeah, man. So let's put this into some light, yeah? First, God is king. Yeah. Let's go to the book of Jehovah. No. Let's go to the book of divinity. Let's go to the book of divinity. Book of divinity. Chapter 1, verse 4 states, Jehovah said, he who is chief of a government on earth shall be called king. But he who is chief of my heavenly government shall be called God. So here we see that king and God is synopsis with each other. They coincide with each other. They share a similar relationship as far as being a governing body, a king over a government. So right here in this one verse, the OAHSPE is letting you know that God is a king of a heavenly government. No different than man is a king of an earthly government. But notice it says, Jehovah said. Now, if God was creator, it wouldn't say Jehovah said. Jehovah wouldn't be classifying himself within the heavenly kingdom. Jehovah is the supreme author, telling you and reminding you what a God is, a heavenly ruler. And then he's giving you context to tell you what a God is in comparison to on earth, a king. See, the OAHSPE clears up all the confusion when it comes to who is God. We understand that God is no different than what a goddamn president is on earth, a ruler in office for a period of time. So again, the verse states, Jehovah said, he who is chief of a government on earth shall be called king, but he who is chief of my heavenly government shall be called God. See that? No confusion there. No confusion there. We know who God is. And look at some more understanding of the heavenly proceedings. Verse 6, as Jehovah provided that no man could be a king forever, but must give way to a successor, even so in his heaven. See that? Let's stop right there. Those words, even so in his heaven. That is letting you know right there that the proceedings that you see on earth is governed in like manner in heaven. He's making it clear for you to understand. A goddamn child could understand this. If I was standing before some 11-year-olds reading this and tell the 11-year-olds to read me back and make sense of it, they're going to explain it exactly. But grown goddamn adults can't comprehend this shit because they've been bamboozled by these false gods for thousands of years that they can't comprehend this simple logic that OAHSPE is delivering through Creator Jehovah. Now again, as Jehovah provided that no man could be a king forever, but must give way to a successor, even so in his heavens, he also provided for his gods and lords to have successors at certain periods of time. See that? The OAHSPE is letting you know that the heavenly kingdom is ran in concordance to the earthly kingdom. You have a president, he rules for 4 years, then he make way to another president. In the same way with the gods. A god may rule on the throne for a period of time, then a successor comes and he rules on the throne. So while you believe in the Bible, it's just this one singular God running all through the book. You're not even aware of the succession of the gods. Huh? You know how many gods sat on the throne? Numerous of gods sat on the throne since the time man was created to our present time. Or let's just use it in layman terms, from the time of Adam to now. It's been numerous gods. An arc cycle is 3,000 years. And within 3,000 years, you have 7 successions of gods ruling on the throne. So within a time period of 3,000 of 3,000 years, you have 7 gods ruling on the throne. And we're in the 25th arc cycle. Now you do the math of how many gods are sitting on the throne since the time of Adam or primitive man till now. A numerous number of gods has been on the throne, and all these gods who profess to be true is professing creator. All the righteous rulers who ruled the heavenly kingdom, installed rightfully in the inauguration by creator, all profess creator, never profess worship of themselves. That's the difference between true God and a false God. A true God is going to give praise to Jehovah because a God understands that he is a ruler sitting upon a throne of a kingdom. No different than, that's like you looking at the president and y'all calling the president the creator. Y'all calling the president the most high. Y'all calling the president the nigga who made the heavens and the earth. When you know damn well the president is a man like you, came into the world like you, breathed the same air like you. See that? It's just he's in position he's just in position of presidency. How many presidents we had since the America been established? 40, how many? Damn, they're going on 50 presidents. We could understand the earthly succession of government. We could understand that, and we could see how many presidents from Abraham, Adam, George Washington, all the way up to what's the guy who in office now? Damn, Biden, Joe Biden. From George Washington to Joe Biden, look how many presidents then reigned on the throne, then ran the government in America. The same rules apply in the heavenly government. There are successions of the gods. And this is what the OAHSPE is here to remind you, because you forgot, because the false gods have been deceiving you for the last 6,000 years, telling you that they are the one supreme deity, reigning for all these years with no succession. Just a tyrant, jealous and angry God, just reigning for thousands of years, just doing what he wants. No, that's fuckery. Where do you see that at in reality? Where do you see a jealous and angry president running around just doing what he wants without being G-checked by the governments around them or the United Nations? Nigga just can't go out here and do whatever the fuck they want. Look at North and South Korea. Look at South Korea. That nigga's a madman, right? He on his own time. But he ain't foolish enough to go drop bombs on China and America just randomly. He gonna get G-checked. United Nations gonna check that nigga. These same governing bodies, these principalities in high places. What the hell you think principalities in high places mean? This is it. The OAHSPE is breaking down the principalities in high places. Again, verse 6 states, as Jehovah provided that no man could be a king forever, but must give way to a successor, even so in his heavens, he also provided for his gods and lords to have successors at certain periods of time. As above, so below, as above. And look, this is the reason why. Here's the reason why for the successions. So that the way would be open for the everlasting resurrection of all men and women, by which all who choose may in time become also lords and gods for the countless worlds that now are and shall yet be created. See that? Look at the vastness of your creator. Look at the system and order of your creator. Look at the responsibility your creator is putting in your hands by giving you the choice to become a lord or become a god and rule over cities, nations, and worlds. This is what's really going on. You are a universal God. The creator made you a universal God. You could rule universally throughout the cosmos, governing the creator's creation endlessly. Worlds that are already in existence and worlds that are yet to be created. Nigga, come on. Show me some shit like this in the Bible that can rival this type of shit. This is why we rock with the OAHSPE. That's why we call creator game. We see the bigger picture, far beyond that local God in the Bible, that Jerusalem God, that geographical God who created the universes but only is located in Jerusalem. While here, Jehovah's telling us, nigga, once you become a God and Lord, I'm going to let you rule over countries. I'm going to let you rule over whole worlds. The same way your president rule over a government. These are the rudimentary small examples on an earthly level, on a mundane level, to build us up for when we grow spiritually and advance in these higher realms in ascension, and we're going to be able to govern worlds. It may sound silly now, the same way it may sound silly to a 6-year-old when you tell a 6-year-old, hey, yeah, you could own this whole house right here, and he looking at you like you crazy. Man, you can't own that. Nah, that could never be. Because he haven't reached that advancement of wisdom and age of years yet. It ain't time for him to know that, but it's there. See that? Judge sweet over here in the OAHSPE. Look what Judge say in verse 8. Jehovah said, I blow my breath outward. Now, what happens? Jehovah said, I blow my breath outward. What happens when Jehovah blows his breath outward? What comes into existence? Vortices, right? Vortices is the words of Creator. When a vortex is formed, that's Creator in motion, speaking as is. Jehovah said, I blow my breath outward, and behold, all things are created. Now again, how things are created? By Vortexia. By Vortexia. Right? All things are creatable by Vortexia. Let's get the precept to that. Let's get the precept to that. Let's go to the book of Jehovah. Book of Jehovah. What Jehovah say right here? What Jehovah say in book of Jehovah chapter 3 verse 6? What do he say right here? What do he say? For each and every corporeal world, I created a what? A vortex first. What did Jah say right here? What did Jah say right here? Jehovah said, I blew my breath outward, and behold, all things are created. What did Jah say over here? For each and every corporeal world, I created a vortex first. So when Jah said, I blew my breath outward, guess what came into existence first? The vortex. And then when the vortex was created, that's when all things come into creation. Right here. For each and every corporeal world, I created a vortex first. And by its rotation and from the place in the firmament where it traveled, I caused the vortex to conceive the corporeal world. See that? See that? See that? I caused the vortex to conceive the corporeal world. What did I just say? Jehovah said, I blow my breath outward, and behold, all things are created. I caused the vortex to conceive the corporeal world. What did Jah say up here? For each and every world, I created a vortex first. See that? So we're not just over here speaking scat about information when we talk about creation. Everything is systematically orderly designed over here. When we talk about creator, you will never get us tied up, confused, and saying 3 and 4 different type of shit about creator. Or if you ask us a question now, then ask us the question 10 minutes later, we're giving you a different answer. No, it's going to be one consistent answer every time you're dealing with creator gang. If you want to deal with, if niggas ain't talking about Vortexia, niggas don't know what the hell they talking about. Niggas talking about a big bang. Ain't no big bangs over here. What the verse say? For each and every corporeal world, I created a vortex first. He ain't say I created a big bang first. A vortex. And you see a vortex in nature. You see a vortex damn near in everything in creation. From the whirling galaxies to the whirlwind to the hurricane, you see Vortexia. That's the Big Bang. Y'all want to talk about the first cause of creation? It's Vortexia. Something that you've been seeing in nature all your life, but never thought to think that that's the force of creator in creation. Jehovah said, I blew my breath outward, and behold, all things are created. They go out, they go away in disorder, but they come back to me orderly and organic in organic companies. And every individual member is like a tree bloomed to perfection in every branch. Jehovah said, now creator talk, this Jehovah talking now. This ain't God talking. We already showed you that God is not creator. So this is Jehovah creator letting you know how the gods function. Jehovah said, Yahuwah said, these companies returning to me in all their glory are marshaled in decorum and discipline by my gods, for such is their labor. The duty of the gods is to take the unorganized and make them organized. Huh? The duty of the gods is to take chaos and bring order. The duty of the God is to take the abstract and make it concrete. Jehovah said, the labors of my gods shall be chiefly in atmospheria. Look at that. He's letting you know. Yahuwah said, the labor of my Elohims shall be chiefly in atmospheria. Atmospheria is, you know what atmospheria is? That's the, see, the OAHSPE is giving you terms you can familiarize yourself with. If that shit would have said heaven, niggas would have got spaced out thinking about some shit that don't exist. But atmosphere is right above your head and within all around you. So the labor of my God shall be chiefly in atmospheria. Atmospheria is the stratosphere, the troposphere, the exosphere. All these are the atmosphere. These are where the angels are working, outside of visible light. The same way air can condense itself and be seen as a cloud vapor, air can be seen as vapor in the wintertime, but that which is unseen became seen. The gods and the angels and the lords, all of those are in the unseen. They exist outside of visible light. But the same way how winter comes and the air can condense and that which is unseen known as air can vaporize and now it seems as vapor and smoke, it's the same way the gods can condense themselves into visible light, slow down on the nanometers of the vibrational frequency and bring it into visible light, bring it into 700 nanometers so where you could see them. All this shit is a science by the gods through the creator, using Vortexia. Jehovah said, the labors of my God shall be chiefly in atmospheria. Nevertheless, my gods and lords shall not only labor with the spirits of the dead to teach them organic discipline in harmony, but they shall provide for mortals so that they also may learn the system and glory of my creation. See that? As above, so below. But look what it states. Look what it states right here. It says, my gods and lords shall not only labor with the spirits of the dead, not only with the spirits of the dead to teach them organic discipline and harmony. This is what they learn, the spirits of the dead. They're learning the organic discipline and harmony within the heavenly kingdom. They're not going around slaughtering niggas. The ways of the creator is not going around being jealous and angry, slaughtering niggas. The ways of the creator is organic discipline and harmony. Not once in the OAHSPE does true God, rightful ruler of the heavenly kingdom, go to war. Throughout the whole, it's a whole section, a whole book called the Book of Wars Against Jehovah. And that whole book, none of those who served Jehovah, from mortals to angels, went to war. All the wars was by the false gods and the mortals who was inspired by these false gods, clamor for their God. The same way Israel clamor for their God. Thinking you dealing with creator, not knowing you dealing with a false God, a tribal God that's warring with another God. And he got you believing he the most high God. And the other gods, they got their followers believing that they're the most high God. And now it's battle. Let's see who come out on top. While all that's going on, those who serve creator looking back like, look at these niggas. Look at these idiots. They over here slewing themselves, creating chaotic spirits in the lower heavens or atmosphere. But that's next level shit. So again, let's read that verse one more time. Jehovah said, the labors of my God shall be chiefly in atmospheria. Nevertheless, my gods and lords shall not only labor with the spirits of the dead to teach them organic discipline and harmony, but they shall provide for mortals, which is us humans, so that they also may learn the system and glory of my creation. See that? See that? You got niggas that don't even believe in angels and the spirits of the dead, while this shit is showing you that this whole organic system's going on. Whether you believe it or not, this ain't an issue of belief, nigga. It is what it is. You're going to come into when your ass die and wake up and when you cross over and realize your ass still alive, it ain't no goddamn logic to that. It is what it is. You just got to go with the motherfucking flow. When the hurricane come, ain't no logic and explanation. Why is the hurricane brewing in the... See, it doesn't make sense for the hurricane to come from the Atlantic and then from the Atlantic to the Gulf and work its way in. Ain't no logic to explaining that shit. Nigga, you better get out the way or you gonna die if that hurricane come through and you don't move. It is inevitable. Some things you just can't question. You just got to go with the flow and acknowledge that this is what it is. Just like you got to die. You acknowledge the fact that you got to die, but you're having a hard time that there's life after death. It's hard for some niggas to comprehend that, while other people comprehend it easily. Yes, family, we're just vibing. Give me a 1 in the chat if you're getting this understanding. You dig? Because it's a blood clot vibes. We're just vibing out, family. You know how we do, dropping these words of wisdom of Creator, showing you how these things are done. Yes, family. It's a blood clot vibes. Large up yourself. It's a blood clot vibes. So just with the little I explained, with just that alone, dealing with the God, showing you and distinguishing the God's system and order in comparison to the earthly government, showing you the difference between creator. Creator is speaking like, yo, I'm the creator. This is how my heavenly and earthly governments are compared, and this is how they run. But now when you come to the Bible now, when you come to Genesis, it already got you in a it already got you fucked up right off the bat. Boy, this OAHSPE is a cold-blooded ass book. Shout out to the intellectual minds who has the ability to be patient and read it and digest what's in it and see the bigger picture. You know what I mean? Woe unto those who follow these false gods. Now look here. Now look, blood clot here. See, look, this is the Bible. This is how the Bible starts off. In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. Now, we just went through from the OAHSPE and explained God. Starting with verse 4, coming back up. Look, Jehovah said, he who is chief of a government on earth shall be called king, but he who is chief of my heavenly government shall be called God. But look who's starting out the book. In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. Now, we just showed that God is this is to say that in the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth with the understanding that God is really a heavenly ruler. It's like saying in the beginning, Joe Biden created the heavens and the earth, because Joe Biden is the goddamn president. God is a president. God is a king. He's a ruler. He's someone that governs a kingdom. A president is a person who governs the country. So that's like saying in the beginning, Joe Biden created. How goddamn silly does that sound? Well, just as silly as that sound is as silly as this verse really is displaying. Because once you understand now that God is just a person, a ruler, an angel ruling a kingdom, you cannot say that in the beginning God created the heavens and the earth, because God is not the creator. Jehovah is the creator. For each and every corporeal world, I created a vortex first. Now let's show you how Jehovah's created. They ain't show you that Jehovah was created in the Bible. This is Genesis chapter 1, verse 1. This is the first book in the OAHSPE. Book of Jehovah, chapter 1, verse 1. Let's cross compare. All was, all is, all ever shall be. The all spoke, and motion was, and is, and ever shall be. And being positive was called he and him. The all motion was his speech. Now, this is chapter 1, verse 1 in the book of Jehovah, Yahuwah, from the OAHSPE. Nowhere in this verse is a God even mentioned. It mentions all. What is the definition of the word all? Look what it states for the definition of the word all. Used to refer to the whole quantity. See that? The whole quantity. That means 100%. So what Jehovah is saying right here is that I am all, the whole quantity. When you look in creation, when you look up into the cosmos, the all is that exactly what you see. Everything in creation that is all in all is creator. The whole quantity, not a portion. Now, that is what the word all means. It means the whole quantity. When we go to God, what is God? We did this a billion times, but the same way these Israelites could read on a corner every goddamn week, we could go over this every goddamn time. So what is a God? A God, as you know, we already know he's an angel, but he's a deity. God is a deity. Right there, right? So in Genesis chapter 1, verse 1, you have God creating the heavens and the earth. And in the OAHSPE chapter 1, verse 1, you have all, which is the whole quantity. But a deity, which is a God, what is a deity? A god or goddess, a deity of ancient Greece. But what is a deity? How does a deity look? Look, these are deities. Now, a deity cannot be classified as the whole quantity, because to be the whole quantity, you would have to encompass all things. As a deity, you are localized, you are departmentalized. You're right there. I could point to you. But if you're a whole, if you're everything, I can't put a beginning and an end to you. It's like the air in your presence. You can't put a beginning and ending to where air begins and ends at. It's everywhere present. It's the whole quantity. But a God, a deity, is a departmentalized being. Geographical, it has even a geographical location. These deities have geographical locations for their existence. They're not even cosmic. They're geographically departmentalized. This is an Indian deity out of India. You're not going to see no Indian deity running around in Kemet. Nor you see Jesus. This is a Palestinian deity. You see that? You got different deities in different countries that are classified to be as the whole quantity. They're classifying these deities as the whole quantity. False gods. So OAHSPE is letting you know right off the rip that the creator is the whole quantity and not a departmentalized deity that you could look upon. So again, the OAHSPE is letting you know right off the bat, chapter 1, verse 1, all was, all is, all shall ever be. All spoke, and motion was and is and ever shall be. And being positive was called he and him. Now the he and him, again, when you see he and him, it's not referring to this right here. These are he's and hims, and these are not talking about men, because it already described that we're dealing with the whole quantity. What is one thing that encompasses everywhere present? That is air. Air is everywhere present. Space is everywhere present. So the creator is saying that when I want to create motion or create celestial beings, I bring into motion from the all. What is the all? Time, space, continuum. Air, space. And everything that encompasses that, every celestial universe, every galaxy is a departmentalized piece of the all. So the he and him is not referring to a man, but it's referring to motion. When the all puts things in motion, when the all put things in motion, first and foremost, there's a vortex. There's a vortex when the all puts things in motion. As we just read earlier, for each and every world, I created a vortex first. So if we're talking about a vortex first, this motion is the first cause for a vortex to be created. In order to have a vortex, you got to have motion first. In order to have a hurricane, them winds got to be blowing first. You ain't going to have a vortex without wind and motion. So motion is the fundamental principle of creation. You cannot have creation without motion. That's why niggas sound silly when they talk about the earth don't move. Because if there's no motion, there's no life. If you see somebody laying in the street and they don't move, you're going to assume that they're dead until they lift up their head. Oh, he's alive. Why? Because you've seen motion. Motion equals life. Period. So the Creator is letting you know, before motion, what is before motion? Stillness, motionlessness. So in the whole quantity, there are parts within the quantity, there are no motion until a vortex is created. So you could have vortices all within creation, but within those spaces could be motionless, timeless, because motion and time is subjected to motion, and motion is subjected to time. When people say time don't exist, the only way time cannot exist if there's no motion. If there's motion, time exists. I don't give a damn how fast or slow the motion is going. If it's from point A to point B, time is involved. I don't give a fuck how fast it is. It can be faster than humans can comprehend, but if it goes from point 1 to point B, time is involved. So you cannot escape time. You cannot escape motion without time. Time and motion is one and the same. When you look at a clock, that shit is in motion. So now, what we're saying here is that the Creator being the whole quantity, once the whole quantity gives motion, there's life. When the quantity gives motion, there's life. This is what happens when the quantity gives motion. Oh shit, hold on. This is when when that motion is brewed. This is what's going on here. So now the all, consider this the all. See everything in this picture? Consider that the all. It has no beginning and has no ending. You just keep going. This shit will have no ending to, there is no ending and there is no beginning to space. But when the Creator creates from the all and produces motion, this motion is this. That's the motion that the all produces. And it's consistent. It's consistent. But the space in between the all, the space in between, the black space you see in between the all, between the space of the other guy, those areas could be motionless because they're not subjected to the vortex. So everything existing outside of this vortex until you get to the next vortex could be stillness, motionless, timeless. You're only subjected to time when you're ingrided in the vortex. See how we going around the vortex? We spinning around the vortex? Nigga, we come outside of the vortex and be right here, nigga, we outside of time. We outside of time-space continuum, because that's time-space continuum as it whirls. You come out the vortex in the stillness. That's that ether. But the Creator is showing you that motion is when creation begins. But keep in mind, when we're coming back to the Bible, God is a deity. God is a deity. That's the deity. Whatever the deity is, that's the deity. And it is this God that's creating in the beginning. In the beginning, a deity, a man floating in space, created the heavens and the earth. And the earth was without form, and void and darkness was upon the face of the deep. And the Spirit of God, the deity, now keep in mind, this is a deity. We already showed the deity has a spirit. The spirit exists within the deity. So God is hovering. Yep. It said, and the earth was without form and void, and darkness was upon the face of the deep. And the Spirit of God moved upon the face of the waters. This is a whole lie. This is a lie. This whole creation is false. Creation don't manifest like this. Let's make creation make sense, because creation shows us in real life this. This is the consistency of creation. Why isn't God showing this here? He's talking about the earth being formless and void, but why is he not describing the very vortice that sustains the celestial body? See that? Look at this. See this vortex right here? See the vortex? In the center of this vortex is a celestial body. When I say celestial body, a celestial body can mean sun, moon, star, planet. That's what a celestial body is. That's what a celestial body is. Sun, moon, star. But notice, you see the vortex. In the center of the vortex would be the sun, would be the planet, would be the star, would be the moon. Every celestial body that you see in the sky is subjected to this vortice that you see here. Now, how can you talk about having the earth without mentioning the very vortex that produced the earth or the celestial body? So in this story, it says, and the earth was without form and void. If the earth was without form and void, there would be no vortex, because you can't have an earth without a vortex. So if there's no vortex, if the earth has no form, that means there is no vortex to even support the form of an earth. So let's make this make sense. This is a vortex. Let's make this make sense. Let's make Jehovah's word make sense, because the Bible ain't making it make sense. You've been taught to believe that that's how it goes, but you've been bamboozled. You've been lied to. The book of Jehovah chapter 3 makes it make sense. You want to know the creator? Go to the book of Jehovah chapter 3. This is where it makes sense. Listen. Thus spoke Jehovah by the light of Cosmon. He proclaimed these things amongst the nations of the earth. So this ain't just for us, this is for the nations. Everybody going to get this understanding, because you've been lied to for 6,000 years believing this. In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth was without form, and void and darkness was upon the face of the earth, and the Spirit of God moved upon the face of the waters. That's what you've been taught to believe, how creation came about. And damn near everybody accept this, right? Not knowing that this is a lie from a false God. But the way creation really comes about, that could be supported by facts in creation. See the celestial bodies? Spiral, see the spiral? See all this? One consistent order of Vortexia? See the consistency of Vortexia? See the vortice within another vortice? See how this works? One consistent order, right? So let's make this make sense. Let's make this make sense. Thus spoke Jehovah by the light of Cosmon. He proclaimed these things among the nations of the earth. Now look, this was the question. Man looked upward in prayer, desiring to know the way of all created things, both on earth and in heaven. Now let's stop right there. This is the question. He wants to know the way of all created things, both on earth and in heaven. So what he's going to explain, what Jehovah's about to explain, creator, to man, is that I'm going to give you some examples that's going to parallel that which is on earth and that which is in heaven. And this is the manner of all created things. That's the key. What I got highlighted is the key. All created things, both on earth and in heaven. So it's showing you that there's a parallel. It's an as above, so below. It's a comparison. So when you thinking you're gonna die and you're gonna dissipate into nothingness, no, you're gonna be well and alive just like you are now. So let's get this. What did Jehovah say? Jehovah answered him, saying, now this is the answer to what? All created things. What Jehovah say? Let's stop here. Let's stop here. The whirlwind I made as a sign to man of the way of my created worlds. Now we see the whirlwind. Do we not see the whirlwind in nature? Bam, I'm back. Y'all can hear me? When if I burn out the blood clot signal, I go on with the fire. Where the hell I stop at? Damn, I've been muted for a minute. We good. But yeah. So nonetheless, what I'm showing you is that the creation story that's given in the OAHSPE is consistent with that which is proven on earth and that which is proven in heaven. But we can't prove none of this in the Bible because there is no system and order being displayed here. It's a story about creation that is not consistent with creation. The earth was a formless, without form. You can't have an earth without a vortex. So they're not even giving you the vortex first. Not even in chapter 1, verse 1, they're giving you a vortex. While in the OAHSPE, we're showing you that. Coming back up here, just in case I missed it. It said, man looked upward in prayer, desiring to know the way of all created things, both on earth and in heaven. See that? He's asking to know the way of all created things, both on earth and heaven. So there's going to be a comparison here. As above, so below, as above. And then Jehovah gives us an example. Jehovah says, what? The whirlwind I created as a sign to man of the way of my created worlds. Now we see the whirlwind in nature. We see that in nature. Now he says, this is the manner of my created worlds. We see this in nature, but we don't see this in Genesis as a sign to the way how worlds are created. How are worlds created? Instead of just telling me in the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth was without form. So without a vortex, you can't have an earth. So let's come back. As you see the power of the whirlwind gathering up the dust of the earth, driving it together. We see that here. The power of the whirlwind gathering up the dust, driving it together. The Creator is giving us context to understand creation with the very principal things we see in nature as hurricanes and whirlwinds. Now, look what it states. Know that likewise I bring together the Jaya, the Aja, and the nebula in the firmament of heaven. So now he's describing which is on earth by gathering up the dust, the whirlwind. And now he's letting you know in the firmament, the same rules apply. The same rules apply in the firmament. I gather up dust, vapor, and drive it to the center through vorticity, through the Vortexian power, the same power and force you see right here. These hurricanes you see right here, see this big belly of vortex, see that right there? See that big belly vortex right there, right here? And then when you look from the top of the vortex, that's what you're seeing. And when you look at the top of the galaxies, that's what you're seeing. It's one consistent order, but yet do we have to see this explained in Genesis, which is supposed to be the creation story. The 7-day creation story doesn't even give you this right here. It doesn't display how these things were created. It just tells you that they were created. Where we're at a point in age where we want to know how things are created. We want to know how things are generated. So Jaja say, know that likewise I bring together the Jaya, Aja, nebula in the firmament of heaven, and that's what you see right here. And what happens when he brings those things together? By the power of the whirlwind, I created this corporeal sun, moon, and stars. So he's letting you know right here, by the same power and force you see here that we experience every year, Texas, Tornado Alley, and all these places that get whirlwinds and tornadoes. This is the same force in the cosmos that create worlds. See that? See the hurricane? I mean, see the galaxy? See the tornado? What did the OAHSPE say? By the power of the whirlwind, I created the corporeal sun, moon, and stars. Look at that. He said he created the sun is subjected to a whirlwind. What do you see right here? What do you see right here? In the center, you see the sun, right? What do you see around the sun? A whirlwind. What did Jaja say? By the power of the whirlwind, I created the corporeal sun, moon, and stars. By the power of the whirlwind. You see the power of the vortex going in circles, and then it's driving it to the center, producing warmth, heat, moisture, and condensed gases, produces a ball of fire. This is your sun. This right here is the sun. See that? Let's get a picture of the sun. See, this is the picture of the sun that we see, right? We see this rising and setting every day. But little do we know that surrounding this sun is this. It's vortices surrounding this. We don't see it. It's invisible to the naked eye for us. But when we look into the cosmos, we get a glimpse objectively to see the fullness. This is why the whole flat earth and that shit is out the window. Because this totally debunks that. Because you can't have a sun. See the vortex, see the sun in the middle? Look at all these vortices with the suns in the middle. See, look at all these vortices with the suns in the middle. What did the OAHSPE say? By the power of the whirlwind, I created the corporeal suns, moons, and stars. Huh? These would be considered stars, zoomed in galaxies. But what do we see? The vortex. And in the center of the vortex, the sun. Not no damn earth. The sun comes first. So your whole creation story over here is way off. Because first off, you're supposed to be talking about the vortex. And then from the vortex, you're supposed to be talking about the sun. Because that's what comes after the vortex, the celestial body. See that? See, the center is a ball of light. And see these these smaller lights existing out. These would be your planets, subjected, spiraling around the center of the master vortex being the sun. And we see this example in nature. We see it in the whirlwind. But little do you know that your very sun that you see every day, this big star, bright light, brilliant bright light at high noon, is subjected to a vortex like this. This is why in the OAHSPE, the sun was created before the earth. You cannot have, this is what debunks this whole creation story. God said, let there be light, and there was light. And God saw that the light was good. And God divided the light from the darkness. And God called the light day. You cannot have day without sunlight. And according to the Bible, sunlight was not created until the 14th day. Let there be lights in the firmament of the heaven to divide the day from the night. And let them be for signs. So they're talking about the moon and the sun here. So you can't say that Genesis chapter 1, when it says, let there be light, was this light. Because if you admit that Genesis chapter 1, verse 2, what we just read, talking about let there be light, if you're saying that this is the same light, you would have to admit that there are two lights. Because this is clearly saying, let there be lights in the firmament of the heaven to divide the day from the night. And let them be for signs, seasons, days, and years. So it's obvious chapter 14 is talking about the sun and the moon. Especially right here when it states, and God made two great lights, the great light to rule the day, which would be the sun, and the lesser light to rule the night. And he made the stars also. But look, here, he exposed himself right here. He says, God made two great lights, the greater light to rule the day. How are you going to have a light? How are you going to have day without sunlight? You can't have a day without, the sun determines a day. How many hours is in a day? In day, it's 12 hours in daylight. It's 12 hours at night. Brings us to 24 hours as a whole revolution. You can't deny that. So how God gonna be talking about up here? Let there be light, if it ain't the sun. So the creation story in Genesis is out of wax. It's false by a fallen angel. A false God gave you that. While the OAHSPE is giving you the truth of how creation is created through Creator, and it's demonstrated in creation, in nature, and in the cosmos. All right, we still good. Make sure my sound ain't go out again. So now, check it. Look what it states here. And I commanded man to name the whirlwinds and the Etherian firmament, and he named them according to their shapes, calling them what? Vortices and walks. According to their shapes. We call it the vortex. So there you have the vortex. See that? Look at the vortex in real time. Space-time continuum. Look at that. And numerous pictures of these spiraling vortices that you could see. Now, it's interesting how cats who believe in this flat earth don't speak on how cosmic creation manifests, because if they acknowledge that cosmic creation is manifested through Vortexian current, and then at the center of the vortex there's a globe of fire, that debunks the whole flat earth and the sun spewing around in a circle above the earth. That debunks that with just this alone. You see that? This is real creation with endless examples, right? But then when we look at the flat earth model, right? It's the flat earth model. This is supposed to be an example of the flat earth model. See that? Now look at this model in comparison to what is really shown in creation. Look at what's really shown in creation. What do you see in creation? You see a spiraling vortex and a central sun. Let's get another one. A spiraling vortex and a central sun. But in the flat earth theory, they want you to believe that the sun is going in circles around the earth. When creation shows us this. See that? So just that alone debunks the theory. It debunks the theory. Endless pictures of vortices showing you a central sun and a spiraling vortex around it. See that? But they want you to believe this. And then they want you to believe that the ice wall, the Antarctic ice wall surrounds the planet. Well, let me show you how that's false right there as well. Because there's something that they have every year called the Antarctica. Hold up. It's a trip that they have every year called the Antarctica race. I forgot. Let me if I can get the name of it. Hold up. Let's see. Oh, I'm telling you this. Something like that. Let me see if I can pull that up. There we go. Boom. Now, this is another thing that's going to debunk the flat earth, because every year they have something called the Antarctica boat race, right? Where these niggas travel around the Antarctica. And this is a map of the route that they travel. See that? This is the route they travel. And they go around the Antarctica in their boats. Take pictures of them niggas doing it. See, solo Antarctic woman crowd funds. You can look it up. See, it's called right here, Sail World Antarctica Cup Yacht Race. This is something that these niggas do yearly, and they got the route of Antarctica where they go around. So that totally debunks the idea that it's an ice sheet surrounding the world when these niggas is over here doing this shit every year. See that? They go around this. Go to the website. Look, see that? Look. Antarctica Cup Yacht Race. Look at this. By Antarctica Cup Yacht Race Media on August 16, 2007. Albany, Western Australia has been selected as the start and finish point of the Antarctic Yacht Race. Y'all can do the homework on this. I'm just showing you that. Look, there goes South America right there. Now, according to the flat earth, the ice wall is supposed to be around here. Got niggas locked in like you see here. Like you see here. This the ice wall got niggas locked in. But according to these cats who do this every year, this is the real Antarctica, and they travel from South America and they go around the continent of Antarctica. See that? There go some of the pictures right there. See that? That debunks the flat earth right there. Oh, niggas ain't never been on the other side of the border. Nigga, these niggas is going around the whole Antarctica every year for a damn trip. This the article. You can look it up. These niggas is having trips going around the Antarctica Well, y'all niggas talking about, oh, ain't nobody ever been to the Antarctica. Y'all niggas ain't doing your homework. It's called, look it up, the Antarctica Cup Yacht Race. These niggas is racing around the goddamn Antarctic. Well, y'all niggas thinking this shit a flat plane. See that? They showing you routes. These are the routes these niggas take going around the continent. They go another one. See that? According to the flat earth, the goddamn ice sheet's supposed to be around here. But Antarctica, they going around here. They showing you the goddamn map. The sailing Antarctica record. They showing you this shit. So this again destroys the whole flat earth theory. This is destroying the flat earth theory about the Antarctic yacht race. And this is destroying the flat earth theory that ain't no goddamn sun floating around, floating upside above the earth, going in a circle when you got spiraling vortices and the sun is the central governing body. The sun is the master vortex. Not no damn earth. Y'all niggas, see, and these false gods got y'all believing this bullshit. Look at this. Look at all these models. Ain't none of this shit real. Not one of these shits is a real example. When I could show you these are real examples. Oh, these are CGI. Well, if these are CGI, let's go to nature. Let's go to nature. Because nature is demonstrating the same force. Huh? Let's go to a hurricane. Let's go to a hurricane, right? Look at a hurricane. The same goddamn force. You see that? You see the hurricane? You see the galaxies? Same goddamn force. See the hurricane? But in the center, that which we call the eye of the hurricane is where the celestial body would be in the cosmos. But on the earth, this is just the earthly example. Because what did the verse say in the OAHSPE? What did the verse say? The whirlwind I made as a sign to man of the manner of my created worlds. This is the whirlwind. That's the sign to man of the way of my created worlds. And these are the example of the created worlds with the same governing force. Vortexia, a vortice in a central sun, a hurricane with a central eye. But here they want you to believe a goddamn, they want you to believe this bullshit. They want you to believe that. They want you to believe that the sun is localized and going like this. All right, I can believe that shit. Ain't none of this shit proven with this nor with this. OAHSPE is letting you know that I'm proving my creation through what I created, nature. The author is backing his authority, that which he created. So now, by the power of rotation, see the rotation? See the rotation? What did it say? By the power. Look at the power and force of the hurricane coming through. When the hurricane comes through, you see that passing, that force and power? You see how it's blowing destructively? Well, it's the same thing going on up here. If you get caught up in these, if you get caught up in the whirlwind, if you get caught up on the outside, if you in the, what happens, what they say when you in the eye of the hurricane? It's calm, it's relaxed. Ain't nothing going on in the eye of the hurricane. Well, guess what's in the center of the vortex? The celestial body, the planet, the sun. So as we in the center of a vortex, we're in the eye of the hurricane, nigga. And when you're in the eye of the hurricane, you don't even know it's a hurricane going on. But step outside the eye of the hurricane and you're going to get caught up in the vortices. Same principle. What creator say? By the power of rotation. What did the creator say? By the power of rotation, swift driving forth, I condense the atmospheric worlds that float in the firmament, and these become my what? Corporeal worlds. This is what he's talking about. This is a vortex he condensed to the center, and it becomes celestial bodies. It becomes sun, moon, and stars. See that? See that? You got the central sun, and the planet and the earth and the other solar celestial bodies will be ingrained and gridded in the circle, and gridded in the vortex, subjected to the vortex like a piece of debris. The goddamn planet is a piece of debris to the vortex of the sun. Huh? Just like this hurricane, any debris in this hurricane, anything caught up in this whirlwind is subjected to it. Anything caught up in this vortice of the sun is subjected to it. That's why the earth is subjected to the sun and not the other way around. Not like this shit. They want you to think that the earth, now keep in mind, they say the earth don't move. So you got this niggas in the middle of the space, not moving, doing this shit. This is not, there is not one example in creation that any of you can show me of this theory called a flat earth in reality. When I'm demonstrating you things that is proven in nature, things that is proven in the cosmos, backed by the words of the OAHSPE. While in the Bible, got you believing some bullshit. Got you believing this shit. Where is that? Where them got them scriptures? Got you believing shit like this. and the earth was without form and void, and darkness was. It's a great story, but it don't coincide with reality and nature. While in the OAHSPE, the all motion, when we get all motion, we get this. We get a vortex. When motion goes into existence, that's what we get. In the cosmos, we get the same force. Now, what did Jaja say? In the midst, in the middle of the vortices, I made them. In the middle of the vortices, I made them. Made what? The celestial bodies. In the middle. See that? See how all these vortices are in the middle? See all these vortices are in the middle? See that? See the vortice? See that is in the middle? What the verse say? In the middle of the vortices, I made them. I made the celestial bodies in the middle of the vortices. But they want you to believe this bullshit. Ain't no middle here. Fuck going on here? Fuck going on here? This is Tom and Jerry, cat and mouse. This is bullshit. No, it don't work like that, family. What Jaja say? In the middle of the vortice, I made them. This is the middle of the vortex, which would be the eye of the storm, which would be where the celestial body would exist. In the cosmos, in the eye of the storm is where the celestial body, the sun, exists. One consistent order. See that? See the central sun? It's like, I don't know how many examples we got to display to prove this point. See the central sun? All he's showing you, but this central sun would not exist without this. This is forming this. Understand that. In the midst of the vortices, I made them. And by the power of the vortices, I turned them on their axis and carried them in the orbit I allude to them. See that? So when you subjected, so anything subjected to this vortex is going to be in an orbit. So if it's a celestial body right here, it's going to be orbiting on this level. If it's a celestial body here, it'll be orbiting on this level, on this ring. And if it's a celestial body here, it'll be orbiting on this ring of the vortex. See that? Rings of the vortex. Just like a solar system. The same shit. One consistent order. I ain't showing you what the ancients did. I'm showing you what Creator did. See, a lot of these niggas who deal with the flat earth, they want to show you what the ancients did. I'm not showing you what no ancients did. I'm showing you what Creator is doing. The ancients ain't greater than Creator. So here's another example. This is an example. A central sun, just like this. You have a central sun, just like this, a central sun, and subjected to the central sun are the planets, the celestial bodies. Subjected to this galaxy are the celestial bodies. It's not that hard to understand. See that? So the planets will be gridded in the vortex outside, circling the celestial body, as you see here, as you see in this example of nature. The whirlwind I made as an example for you to comprehend these things up here. See that? It's consistent, one consistent order, but they're going to try to feed you this. They're going to try to feed you this bullshit. If you believe that, it's all good and dandy, but over here, nigga, we're not rocking with that. We disproved that already. We disproved this with just the vortex, just the principle of how Vortexia works. We disproved this flat earth concept, and then we disproved that the goddamn flat earth is surrounded with the Antarctic wall. We disproved that because these niggas have races every year called the Antarctic race, and this is the route that they took. See that? If they was doing the Antarctic race, these niggas would have. If they was doing the Antarctic race, these niggas would have been globaling the whole world. The whole world. You know how long that shit would have took? That shit would have took over a year. These niggas doing this shit right here in a couple of months, if that. Weeks. Look at that. These niggas in real time. That's the niggas in real time and going around the Arctic. Look at that. That's this. Niggas want to talk about you see that wall right there, nigga? That wall is this, nigga. It ain't out here. Them niggas lied to you. So anytime a nigga bring up the ice sheet wall around the Antarctic, bring up the goddamn Antarctic Cup yacht race that these niggas have. That you see here. Look at these niggas. These niggas clowning. These niggas know that the goddamn earth ain't surrounded by no ice sheet because these niggas over here racing around this bitch every year. You dig? Give me a one in the chat if you getting this understanding. You know how we do. Bob it out. Drop some heavy wisdom and knowledge. Make you think. Make you contemplate. Perception. We only deal with create over here and what Creator shows us in creation. dig? It's a blood clot vibes. Yes, family, you done no sister. You done no sister. So, we showing you, I'm demonstrating what creator shows, which is back to the OAHSPE, which we can see in nature, and then I'm showing you that this whole flat earth concept has no place in nature, other than that, it's a theory. I'm not showing you theories. I'm showing you things proven, objective truths. And then, it's a blood clot vibes. That's vibes, yes? Yes, my brother, where's the big man? Large up yourself, bigs up to my brethren, maximum in a long time. You know what I mean? Participant of the show for years, my brother. I can literally say over 10 years now. You know that What's the vibes? What is that Cosmon? Flat earth makes my head hurt. Yeah, we just prove foolishness. We just prove foolishness with creation and science alone. We don't have to rely on the ancient. See, people think that just because the ancients said it and did it is correct. Nah, dog. Them false gods started with the ancients. The ancients were the first one to get the law and to trickle down the law to us today. So just because the ancients said it doesn't mean that it's right and exact. Because if we want to talk about the ancients, and how they perceive the earth. Now, the ancients, niggas talk about Egypt or whatever. They got Geb laying on his belly and the Nu going across. That's the false concept. That ain't no real concept of creation. With Geb laying on his back as a man and Nu hanging over, she's supposed to be the cosmos. That's a false sense of creation. And we don't even know if that's even true or not. Because in order to know that's true, the person who did that have to explain it. So our concept of what we think that is still false. That's why Walter Williams be beating them niggas up saying, nigga, the hieroglyphs ain't never been deciphered and all that shit y'all niggas talking is crazy. That's the Egyptologist telling niggas that. So while you trying to figure out Geb and the Kemetic cosmology, OAHSPE is giving you the cosmology in real time today, up to date, and identifiable in nature. If creation was the first cause and you see the whirlwind, where is the whirlwind in the Kemetic text? Where is Geb and Nut and Nu being the whirlwind, moisture and air? Those are just descriptive elements in nature, but we're talking about the function of how things come into creation. We just showed you from the OAHSPE is Vortexia and current. We described it in nature. We described it in the cosmos. But you can't describe no nigga laying on his back talking about he the earth. You can't describe no chick, and you can come up with all the examples you want. But that's a false sense of creation. That's why they call it a mythos. And if it's a myth, why are we following it or even entertaining it if it's not real? So, with that, this is how we beat up the false gods and beat up the ancient gods and bring it back to the creator. You dig? Yes, tequila. The ancients were falling off the horizon. You think just because it's ancient is right? No. Same way we got laws today, the same way they had laws in the ancient times. Dig? It survived. Yes, family, you don't know. You don't know when I come through and drop some vibes. And it's just a freestyle vibe, This wasn't even planned, just something that just go with the flow, direct inspiration from Jaja. You know how them things are going, yeah? Can you dig it? Can you dig it? Yes, family. Get up drink still, yeah? Fill up my cup. that information I just brought out, if you was going against somebody speaking Bible talk, what we just brought out, who messing with creator? Who gonna show in the Bible and demonstrate what I just demonstrated with creator from the OAHSPE that we can prove in nature? And we talking about creation. Creation dealing with creator. This is before man, woman. This is before the planets are created. We talking about the function of creation. The OAHSPE gives us that. We ain't even go heavy into the gods and the laws and all that. I'll start off with that, distinguishing the God and showing you what the God is in office. And then we went to creator and creation. And we freestyle it. Just imagine if we debate and I put this shit in a presentation format and give niggas that work. Come on, man. That's what I'm like, boy. You think Cesariak a bad motherfucker? Put that nigga in the ring against Selah, Shalom, see how that nigga get cooked. You know what I'm saying? You got a Hebrew Israelite beating up the Kemetic niggas. And we got to work for the Hebrews. So if the Kemetic niggas having a hard time with the niggas like Cesariak, shit, I think they're gonna deal with us. Our system in order is way more systematically better organized than them. We could talk about communal living too. We got things what to do and what not to do in the OAHSPE, just like in the Bible. We see their plight. A lot of their plight is, oh well, you know, the Bible was here first. The OAHSPE copied from the Bible. Jehovah comes from the Bible. All that is irrelevant because there is always an upgrade. How many upgrades and updates do your phone get to a new version? It's times the Bible already told you the word got destroyed. When Moses got the 2 tablets, the first thing he did was break the motherfuckers. Niggas ain't even get to see the first set of tablets. He broke them. So that's the first set of laws destroyed. So y'all niggas ain't even got no original law. It got destroyed. Then he went back and got another pair. And then he came down. He tried to preach the law, the Leviticus law, whatever, until the time of Ezra. By the time Ezra comes around, now in fact, hold on, let me fall back. Let me give you some dates. So the time of the Exodus, the time of Moshe was 5th century BC, 15th century BC. Right? That's the time of Moshe. That's when he got the laws. 15th century BC is when he would have got the laws. And he would have broke them shits. And then he would have got them again around that same time. So from 15th century BC, right, to about 1,000 years, 1,100 years later to the 4th century BC, 5th century BC, 450 BC is when Ezra compiled the Tanakh. 450 BC. Now, when you read the second Ezra, it's going to let you know that the laws was burnt away during the days of Ezra, and no man knew what was in them. So whatever happened from the 15th century BC to 450 BC, from that time period, somewhere down the line, the laws got destroyed. And we can literally say that the laws got destroyed during the captivity. The captivity was during the 8th, 7th century and during the 5th century BC. So you got the 14th century, the 15th century BC to the 7th century BC when the first captivity came. Northern Kingdom got decimated. 200 years later, 15th century came. 5th century came, the Southern Kingdom got desolated. So that means the Torah done away with because them niggas went into captivity. Now, they went into captivity roughly, 70 years? Let's cap it off at 100. So by the time they're coming back with Ezra now, Ezra has no laws. The laws are done away with because they was destroyed in captivity. This is why Ezra caught the Holy Ghost and rewrote the Tanakh. He rewrote it without having previous texts to copy from. According to 2nd Ezra, that whole chapter lets you know that 2nd Ezra chapter 14 lets you know that Ezra compiled the Tanakh through automatic writing the same way John Newbro compiled the OAHSPE. Oh, Ezra didn't select from here. He didn't select from this scroll. He didn't select from this scroll. He didn't select from that scroll. Ezra was told to take a drink, and the Holy Ghost filled him, and he wrote, and he didn't know what he was writing, just like John Newbro, until the text was complete. And he was told to give some of these books out and to conceal some of these books. So the Bible that you have today known as the King James Version, comes from an automatic rising that was inspired through Ezra. Ezra had a Holy Ghost, a holy inspirational moment where he wrote automatically the words. No, his scribes, I'm sorry, he spoke and his scribes wrote the words he was speaking. He didn't select from previous scrolls and said, all right, we're going to take this, write this. I'm going to read this from this scroll that wasn't burnt, but we was able to retrieve it. Read this scroll, read that scroll. I'm going to go for this scroll and read. He ain't do that. The nigga automatically wrote off the top of his dome while the scribes wrote that which was from the beginning to their present time. And that which was he spoke through automatic writing is what you have in your King James Bible today. In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth, came from a fragment of that nigga imagination. Because he ain't retrieved that from those scrolls. Do we need to prove that in second Esdras? Do we need to prove that in second Esdras that Ezra did not receive the Tanakh from previous scrolls? The nigga got that shit through automatic mouth mumbling. I remember when we was going hard and I was exposing that goddamn Ezra with that mouth mumbling. But to remind you, in case you forgot, let's go exactly to the chapter and verse where Ezra got the mouth mumble. All right, where the mouth mumble at? Okay, is that the cross comparison? All right, let me get the cross comparison. Niggas ain't want this work. Y'all remember the video I did on goddamn Ezra and the OAHSPE when niggas was talking all that shit about the OAHSPE tomorrow? That book was automatically written. Demons wrote that shit. You idiots. You idiots. Your Bible was compiled in the Bible you have known as the King James Version, which is an offshoot of the Tanakh, came through automatic mouth mumbling. Let's get to the verse. Now, I remember I did this, but this is just a cross comparison of Ezra's experience with JBM experience to show that these niggas was in cahoots. So let's go through it again quickly. Ezra, behold, there came a voice out of a bush over against me and said, Ezra, Ezra. So a voice came to Ezra. JBN, I was directed to get a typewriter which writes by keys like a piano. This I did. So both of these niggas is being told by spiritual beings, unseen forces, what to do. Ezra, send the Holy Ghost into me, possession, and I shall write. So Ezra is telling the deity to send a spirit into me, a Holy Ghost, so I can write. If something enters you, that's form of possession. What is possession? A demon, a spirit, especially an evil one, having complete power over you. So whether if it's demonic or not, the point is that it has what? Complete power over you. That's the dealing with possession. Now keep in mind, the word possession is rooted in complete power over you. Right? JBM, one morning the light struck both my hands on the back and they went for the typewriter for some 15 minutes very vigorously. And I was told not to read what was printed. That's JBM experience dealing with the OAHSPE. Now look what Ezra experiences. They wrote wonderful visions of the night that were told, which they knew not. So the same way JBM ain't know what he writing, Ezra don't know what he writing. Because it says what? Which they knew not. Right there, that's the key word right there. So Ezra speaking shit, which they knew not. So while they talking, they looking at this nigga like, wow, look what this nigga, it's like a nigga freestyling off the top of the dome and he just killing the freestyle. And you like, wow, this nigga just saying that off the top of the dome? That's what Ezra is doing. Ezra spitting bars, he freestyling, and they writing this nigga lyrics. Ezra, these five which are ready to write swiftly. So those are the writers. Those are the ghost writers. You know, in music, you got ghost writers. They write music for people. These niggas is ghost writing for Ezra. While Ezra freestyling, this nigga like, yo, this nigga got the hottest freestyle in Jerusalem. We got to write this shit down and take that shit to Jerusalem. And, you know what I mean? We can go ahead and set up the battle raps, the URL battle raps, and we're going to use these verses that Ezra's spitting. That's what's going on. Ezra's automatically talking, freestyling. And look what the next one, Ezra. Tomorrow, this hour shall thou begin to write. So they're going to start beginning to write the lyrics. But look what JBM say. In his experience, one morning seemed accidentally to me, looked out the window and beheld the line of light that rested on my hands extended heavenward like a telegraphic wire toward the sky. Over my head were 3 pairs of hands, fully materialized. Behold, behind me stood another angel with her hands on my shoulders. Me looking did not disturb the scene. My hands kept writing on printing and printing. This is JBM telling his experience of how OAHSPE came about. He said a female was standing behind him holding his shoulder. The line of communication is through contact. People don't know that. Oh. Now look what Ezra say. I got a drink in the mango drink. Ezra, a voice called me saying, Ezra, open thy mouth and drink that I give thee, to drink a full cup which was full as it were with water, but the color of it was like fire, and I took it and drank, and my mouth was open and shut no more. I spake in the day, and I held not my tongue at night. So here is exactly the pinpoint where Ezra begins to spew out the Tanakh, which will be written by his scribes. But he takes a drink in order to get to the state, while in the OAHSPE, JBM just grabs a typewriter and just describes the event that's surrounding him at the time. He ain't take no he ain't smoke no weed. He ain't drink no liquor. He ain't take no strange drink from the angel that told him nothing. The angel that came to JBM ain't tell him to do none of the shit that Ezra was being told to do. The only thing the angels came to JBM and told him to do was grab a typewriter, sit at the table 30 minutes before sunrise, and just lay your hands on the keys, and we gonna do the rest. That's it. That's it. And from that, nigga, we got the OAHSPE. But from Ezra, from his experience, from taking the drink, hallucinating, we get the goddamn King James Bible talking about a 7-day creation story where the creation story is out of wax. The nigga's story is out of wax because he was drunk. He drank. Look, and this is the question. A voice came saying, open thy mouth and drink that. Look, that I give thee to drink. So this deity that came to Ezra he says, I'm going to give you this drink full of cup, which was full as it were with water, but the color of it was like fire. So what's that? Orangey red. This nigga drinking some shit like, the fuck is this? But he took it and drank in my mouth. See, he drank the drink that whoever this person gave it to him, was if it was the angel, but it says I. So whoever I was, which is the deity, must have materialized before this nigga and was like, yo, here, take this drink, man. I'm going to give you this drink. Now, when you drink it, your ass going to be wired. You're going to tap in. You're going to be high. You're going to start seeing things, but I just want you to remain calm. So this verse is the highlight verse when Ezra begins to speak the very words in the Tanakh. So what is the very first word in Torah? Bereshit, bara, Elohim, haaretz. Those would have been the first words coming out of Ezra's mouth, because look what it states. A voice called me saying, Ezra, open thy mouth and drink that I give thee to drink a full cup, which was full as it were with water. But the color of it was like fire. And I took it. That's what, that right there. And I took it. Let me highlight that. You know, I'm a highlight king. Hold up. And I took it and drank. See that? He drank this drink, this angel, this deity give him. And what happened after he drank it? My mouth was open and shut no more. And I spake in the day and held not my tongue at night. So when he spoke, so it says, and when he says he drank it, and he says, and my mouth was open, the very first thing that came out his mouth was Bereshit, bara, Elohim, haaretz. Why do I say that? Because, God damn it, that's right here in your Bible. That's what starts Genesis chapter 1. And Ezra was told that he's going to be, what? Given that which was written since the beginning. He's going to be given that which was written in the beginning. So this is what happened. That's what happened with the God. See that? That's easy work. And then to further, the angel said, and I said, here I am, Lord. So this is a Lord. He's proclaiming this person as a Lord. Ezra is looking at this person as a Lord, and I stood upon my feet. Then he said unto me, in the bush I did manifest myself to Moses. So whoever this deity is telling him, I came to Moses. You don't know no better. You just gonna believe what the nigga telling you. He a deity. He a angel of light. You like, I ain't nigga shit. I believe you, nigga. You an angel. It ain't like you gonna question this nigga. But look, here's the catcher right here. This is it. Hold on. Of course, he says here, for thy law is burnt, therefore no man knoweth the things that are done of thee, or the work that shall begin. So, like I said here, the law is burnt away with. There is no Torah at this time. But it states here. Look what it states here. The work that shall begin. This is the compiling of Torah. I mean, the Tanakh. First you had Torah. Torah was burnt away with. Now we go into Tanakh. And here's the catcher. This is why I say, but a sheep, but Elohim. This is why I say that. But if I found grace before thee, send the Holy, this is Ezra talking, send the Holy Ghost into me, and I shall write all that hath been done in the world since the beginning, which were written in thy law. I shall write all that hath been done in the world since the beginning. Where do we go in Genesis chapter 1? In the beginning, Barashit bara, God, Elohim, created Waha'aretz, the heaven and the earth. That's the beginning. You can't start the Bible without this one verse. This is the verse that every Hebrew learns when they start to learn Hebrew. In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. Waha, Aretz, Tohu, Vohu, and all that shit. I used to learn and read this shit at one point. You know what I mean? Like, I was heavy into the Hebrew, reading the language and studying this shit. But it becomes irrelevant when you find out that you're dealing with a false God. So it says, what? I shall write all that have been done in the world since the beginning. Here is that which was done in the beginning, because that's the creation story. The 7-day creation story is that which was done in the beginning. So this is what Ezra is saying, that if you send the Holy Ghost into me, I'm going to write all these events that which were in the beginning, which were in thy law. You don't know which was in thy law, because the shit was. How are you going to say, I shall write that hath been, he says, I shall write all that hath been done in the world since the beginning, which were written in thy law. How are you going to know which was written in thy law if the law was burnt away with? You don't know what the hell you writing. You just wishfully thinking, hoping you're getting what you thought was in the beginning. But what you got was a goddamn lie. You got the rewritings of Anu Hasaj. And then again, it goes into him getting the drink, writing the books, as it states here in verse 42. The highest gave understanding unto the 5 men, and they wrote the wonderful vision of the night that were told. So this is what they're writing. They're writing the wonderful vision. They at night writing the stuff down, which were told, which they knew not. See that? So they did not know which way they were writing. They just writing. And they did this for 40 days and 40 nights. And it states what? As for me, I spoke in the day, and I held not my tongue at night. So these niggas is working. And out of that came what? 204 books. So that the real Tanakh is 204 books. See, the Israelites don't talk about that. And this is in their book. This is the very compiling of the Tanakh is in the Tanakh itself. It's showing you in chapter Ezra 2:14, that whole chapter is the compiling of the Tanakh that you have today known as the King James Version. You got 66 books in the King James Version, where here is telling you it's really 204 books. Leaving 34 books unreminiscent. Yeah, so you know what I mean? Damn, I thought I was sharing my whole screen the whole time, but it's all goody. It's still a blood clot vibes. You know what I'm saying? So like I said, y'all, let me come back up. That's what I was seeing. I thought I had the screenshot, but I'll just come back to this rise cloud part. So like I said here, if I have found grace before thee, send the Holy Ghost into me, and I shall write all that has been done in the world since the beginning, which was written in thy law. So again, he says, I'm going to write everything that was written in the beginning, which was written in the beginning. There you have it right there. No, not that, but this. This was written in the beginning because this is Genesis by the sheet. Chapter 1, verse 1. In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. And what did Ezra say? I shall write all that hath been done in the world since the beginning, which were written in thy law. But how can he know which was written in thy law? For the law is burnt. So if the law was burnt, nigga, you couldn't know which was written in the law. You were just wishfully thinking what was written in the law. You just wishfully thinking what was written in the law. So that's what I'm saying. Regardless of how these cats try to approach the situation from the OAHSPE, if they still trying to attack that, we got them on both sides. If you want to say that OAHSPE came through automatic writing, nigga, we're gonna go straight to Ezra, 2nd Ezra chapter 14, and show that the Tanakh came through the same way. Now we got to deal with the gods, the lords, these concepts. Who you think, you know what I mean? You're going to be sitting around a God all day saying, holy, holy, holy. All this got to be addressed now. It got to be addressed now, family. Because it's a blood clot vibes. Yeah. It's a blood clot vibes. It's a vibes. It survives. Now, to answer to the Bredger question, I wonder if the sinking of the continent of Pan took place in 40 days. Actually, it took place in 5 months, beloved. And let's show and prove that real quickie. In the Lord's first book, chapter 1, verse... No, it's not the Lord's first book. I think it's the Lord's 4th or 3rd. Nonetheless, chapter 1, verse 52. And in 150 days from the beginning of the flood, the ships were brought into their respective places. For as the Lord destined them, so did they land in the different countries of the world. So 150 days is 5 months. So them niggas was on, when the continent sank, they was on sea for 5 months before the waters resided. And then it states here, the fleet named Gautama was carried eastward, and the country where it landed was called Gautama. This is America they're referring to. The Lord said, from this place my children shall spread out north and south, but they shall not inhabit the lands to the east or west as far as the sea, for they shall be testimony in the time of this landing place from the continent of Pan. See that? Now, the Bible don't even talk about it. You know, the Bible talks about the flood of Noah, but they don't understand that the flood was the sinking of a continent called Pan. There's so much the biblical reader's going to have to learn and digest with this OAHSPE. See that? Look what it say about these are the fleet. These are the survivors of the continent of Pan. The fleet of 2 ships carried to the north was named Yesta, which in the Waga tongue was Japan, which is the same country of to this day is called Japan, signifying relic of the continent of Pan, for it lay to the north where the land was cleaved in twain. So look at that. Reading the OAHSPE, we get some insight on the nature of Japan. Japan is a piece of the continent of Pan. Look at that. Put Japan. No, let me just put Pacific Ocean. This is the Pacific Ocean. This is Japan right here. Let me see if I get a clear map. Look at Japan. This is Japan. Listen to what the OAHSPE is telling you. The fleet of 2 ships carried to the north was named Yesta, which in the Waga tongue was called Japan, which is the same country that is to this day called Japan, signifying relic of the continent of Pan. So they letting you know that Japan is a relic of the continent called Pan. And you can still see the outline of Pan. You can still see the outline of Pan right here. Look at Japan. Look at the outline right around here. This shit would have been like it would have been looking like a mother continent, Africa. But what the verse say again? It says that to this day is called Japan, signifying relics of the continent of Pan. For it lay to the north where the land was cleaved in 2. See that? So they showing you that Japan, it was a continent right here in the Pacific. Bible don't talk about that. The Bible don't talk about the continent of Pan, which was sank beneath the waters, which was your biblical deluge, which was your biblical flood. As it states, what's the synopsis of 16 cycles, where it gives you a description of why Pan had to sink underwater. Where the synopsis of 16 cycles, right here, right? Let's go to chapter 2. Chapter 3. Right here, let's go to 16. Look what it states. And now the council deliberated, talking about the angelical hosts, but they're the ones who's behind sinking in this continent, right? And now the council deliberated, and after a while caused the records of the earth and her atmosphere to be examined. And they discovered that what? It says, they discovered that the heavens of the land of Pan was beyond redemption because of the great numbers of the spirits of the cannibals and the multitude of fetals. This is the root cause of the reason why the continent of Pan got sunk beneath the waters. creating the deluge known as the flood in your Bible. It said it was beyond redemption. It says the land was beyond redemption. This is where the land was, right here. Now keep in mind, they say Japan was north where the continent was cleaved. So this would be considered the north of the continent. And as you see up in here, as a matter of fact, let me try to get that picture. They actually got a picture of the OAHSPE which shows you the continent of Pan. I said Galaxy continent. That's crazy. Continent of Pan. See that? This is in the OAHSPE now. I'll just put up this picture right here. This is just a drawing. This is a drawing from the OAHSPE, which was before the flood, when the continent was above water. And here we have a picture of it beneath water, known as the Pacific Ocean today. But 25,000 years ago, and before that, it was a continent laying in the Pacific Ocean called Pan. And in the OAHSPE, it says the land of Pan was beyond redemption. They're talking about this land. But if you notice, this is before it sank. And look at the description of America. Notice in America, it was a sea in the area where Texas would be today, where Arizona would be today, where the Grand Canyon would be today. All that was water. Let's get the Grand Canyons to show that what we see today is the bottom of a seafloor. When you look at the Grand Canyons, let me bring that over. When you look at this right here, when you're looking at this right here, what you're looking at here was once this, a seabed right here. You see the waterway? The Gulf of Mexico went all the way up, damn near throughout the whole continent. Look at where the water flew. Now look at Arizona and the Grand Canyon. All this shit was underwater, family. All this shit was underwater. You see the water erosions. Just look at the rocks. Just look at the rocks. Look at the erosions on the rocks, the layers. All this shit was, you still see the remnants of the water here. But at one point, all this water was above ground. It was up here. See the people visiting? 25,000 years ago, all this shit was underwater. As the OAHSPE shows pre-pan, pre-flood. See that? After the flood, this shit receded and became this. See that? Look at this. See that? See all that? All this shit was underwater. This shit was a seabed. And the OAHSPE gives us this example through the drawing that shows, and there's been evidence to show that there's been evidence of ocean and seashells, and even a whale skeleton has been found, if I'm not mistaken, in the Grand Canyon. Let me see if I can pull that up. Grand Canyon whale skeleton or some shit like that. What's this? But if you could do your, some research, you'll see evidence of sea monuments, sea relics in the canyon. Coincided with OAHSPE saying that this was a sea at one point, and then it dried out and it became what we know today as the Grand Canyon. Known today as this. See that? All that shit. Look, all that shit was water. It's like you're looking at an ocean. You're looking at a sea. You're looking at a sea of water. So the same way you see that sea of water, see how that line is leveled out like that? All that was this right here. See, that shit leveled up. All that shit was underwater. That shit was looking like this. This was looking like this pre-flood. See that? And then after the flood, you got, what you got here? The land, the water's dried out. Dry land, it's a desert. That's why can't shit grow in that goddamn place. It's a desert. You see a little bit, but you can't. See that? See those bushes? All this shit used to be underwater, fam. This shit dried the fuck out. And this is 25,000 years ago that this shit would have dried out. So you have 25,000 years of exploration of the natives to go explore these areas after the waters receded. Just imagine you seen the before and after that shit. When there was a sea there and there ain't no sea there no more. That's like we got Lake Lanier. Let me show you that this shit ain't too far-fetched. In Georgia, we got Lake Lanier. Now watch this. This is Lake Lanier in Georgia. This is Lake Lanier. Now watch this. This is what happened some years back in Lake Lanier. Look what happened. It dried out. See that? This used to be Lake Lanier. A couple years back, 2007, drought drying up Georgia Lake, Lake Lanier. And that's how the shit was looking. Doesn't it look kind of similar? This is a smaller scale of that Grand Canyon. The Grand Canyon. Like I said, the Grand Canyon, this shit dried out. It used to be a whole sea here. A whole sea used to exist here, right? The same way there used to be a sea. See that? This Lake Lanier. See how Lake Lanier look? Everybody, it's water there. Everybody thinking. See all the water there? But then the bitch dried out. And it started looking like this. See that? See what I'm saying? See the cross comparison? Look at what water do, the water erosion. It's when Lake Lanier dried out, the whole damn lake. And look what's left. A remnant of water was left after the shit dried out. Look at the small remnant of water. Look at the small river. Look how this shit turned from a lake to a river. The same way, the Grand Canyon, same shit. See that? See that? See that? See the remnant of water? See the remnant of water from Lake Lanier when it dried out? See, that'll give you real life examples to make you think, to show you that the geography of the planet changes. What we see today ain't always what it was. Don't get it twisted. This shit used to be full of that same little water you see right here. That shit used to be up here, covering all this shit. Niggas is taking a boat, sailing up here over the waters. Lake Lanier, look at that. The water dried out. See that? That's when Lake Lanier dried out. But when Lake Lanier was looking, look, this shit dried out to the point, it started going grass on this motherfucker. Now, if you've never been to Lake Lanier and it was your first time coming and you seen this, you'll be like, oh, look at the grass. You will never know that this grass you're seeing right here would have been looking like this. If somebody told you that, yo, this was, you would, nah, man, that's you lying. Nigga. Same argument, same shit. See the boats going on Lake Lanier, them niggas traveling. See them niggas on the seas? It was the same shit going on in the Grand Canyon when the waters was above ground. Same shit. So the OAHSPE is letting you know that the Texas, Arizona, and all them countries in the Midwest was underwater. That's why out there it's so desert-like. Ain't no water out there. Because it's like a beach. Shit dried up, ain't nothing but sand and desert. And look at the Arizona desert. Look at this shit. Look at the dirt and sand. See that? All this shit used to be water. These were landmarks on the water. This. See that? See that? What you see right here? You see how them rocks peeking out the water? See how them rocks peeking out the water? You see how that shit peeking out the water? Fuck you think this was? What you think that was? Oh, this shit was water. All this shit was water, family. All this shit was underwater at one time. See that? See that right there? That's equivalent to this. That's equivalent to this. If this water dry out, nigga, you're going to see a desert and this big-ass rock standing, and you wondering how this shit ended up like that, not knowing originally this shit was a goddamn desert. See that? It ain't too far-fetched. See that water hanging out the ocean? The water hanging out. It ain't too far from this shit. Water covering up to here. All this would have been underground. All this shit, them goddamn shrubs would have been seaweeds on the ground. 25,000 years ago and beyond. 48, 50,000 years ago. Ain't nobody talking about these possibilities. Look at the rocks coming out the water. See that? See how high the water is? It would have been the exact same shit with this. All this shit would have been underwater. Coinciding with what OAHSPE is telling us pre-flood. Over 25,000 years ago. So literally, according to the OAHSPE, this desert, these Arizona deserts, is roughly 25,000 years old as far as the time that they start looking the way they're looking like this. See that? This with water is this without water. See that? See how that look right there? See how that water look? Don't that look like that? Huh? Talk to me. Don't this look like this? Let that water dry out, and I guarantee the shit gonna be looking like this. The waters would have been up to here, showing you how much water receded after the deluge. That the water drawed all the sea out. It drew all the sea out of here. When the sinking of the pen took place, it drew all the seawater out and left it like how we see it today, like this. And we wondering, well, how did Grand Canyon look like that? Nigga, that shit was underwater. We watching some miraculous, miracle shit right now. Because 25, 30,000 years ago, the people existing then, the gather hunters would have been on a boat floating to the rock. They would have been a boat like this, swimming to the rock. Swimming to the rocks. That's what niggas would have been doing. Swimming to the goddamn rocks in a boat. See how he looking standing on top of the rock? He would have been just like that, standing on top of here, looking at over here, looking at this sea, looking at this sea, on his way back to land. See how he's standing on the rock? Just imagine he's standing on the rock, but he up here with it. He up here with it. And the sea like right here. If that. Or the sea could have been like down here. If that. See what I'm saying? Or that shit could have been high above, like some of these motherfucking rocks. Look at that. See the rock? So what I'm showing you is just the changes of nature that the OAHSPE is showing you. How a place that was once luscious with water, as you see here, known as the Grand Canyon, has now become a goddamn desert. See that? Coming back to Lake Lanier. This was when Lake Lanier had goddamn seas. You lucky ain't no big ass rock Lake Lanier standing out the water like this, and I can show the example again. But when Lake Lanier dried out, this is what we got. This is what we got. Don't that look familiar? Don't that dryness and dirt look familiar? Don't that dirt look like this right here? You see the familiarity of the conditions? Look at the watermarks. The water erosion. When Lake Lanier dried out, they seen shit that, man, I don't even want to talk about what they found underwater. A whole damn city. A community. But this is Lake Lanier when it's drying out. I just want to show you the examples. Now look at Lake Lanier. Now look at these. Now you see the water? Now just imagine all this water dry out and you walking on dry land to these patches right here. That's just equivalent with this desert eagle. This desert, Arizona desert. See that? This was water, family. That's what I'm trying to show you. I ain't believing shit. I'm just going about the evidence. Because nature, when you're dealing with vegetation, and it don't rock like this. Vegetation don't rock like this. Let me show you a forest, nigga. We ain't making this shit up. It's a forest. See that? It's a forest right here. It's a forest. Right? See the forest? See how this shit look? See how the forest look? See how that look, right? Nigga, that shit don't look like that. That's different. These are two different these is two different environments. You will never get this. This will never be this. If all these trees was to burn out, it'll never look like this. Never. Only time shit look like this is when there's water right there. When water was once there and it dry out, that's what it looked like. Look at that. So that's what I'm saying, family. The Grand Canyon, Arizona, all that shit right there was underwater at one time. And after the flood, that shit dried the fuck out. That's why ain't no greenery and can't shit grow in those regions, because that shit was once underwater. Try to grow some shit on the place where it once was underwater. And then coming back to the verse in the OAHSPE, the land of Pan was beyond redemption because of the great number of spirits of cannibals in the multitude. Now, this is the reason why the Creator, through his angels, sank the continent. This is the reason. The condition of Pan, Waga, and her heavens was as if a disease in the flesh healed over externally, leaving the root of the disease within. Accordingly, the redemption of the cycles did not remain with her, but evil broke out continually in a new way. So just to put it in a nutshell, they're deliberating to sink the continent due to the fact of the number of multitudes of fetal spirits of darkness that are beyond redemption. So they cannot be redeemed by the atmospheric angels. So it's going to take the etherian angels to redeem these people because they're beyond redemption. Like it states right here, beyond redemption because the great number of the spirits of cannibals. You know what cannibals is? Let's look what they telling you. This is what's going on the continent. Why these niggas had to thing. Look what it say. Cannibal. Human cannibalism is the act of practicing of humans eating the flesh or internal organs of other human beings. That's what cannibalism is doing, right? That's a sign of cannibalism. Now, who was practicing cannibalism in history? Watch this. Watch this. Watch this. What's going on here, family? You tell me what's going on here. What they doing here? What they doing? That's a leg, that's a head, that's a foot. And what they doing? They eating the body parts of a human. What is cannibalism? What is cannibalism? What is cannibalism? What is cannibalism? Human cannibalism is the act of practice of humans eating the flesh or eternal organs of human beings. And what are they doing here? What are these Aztecs doing? They're eating flesh, cannibalism. What are they doing here? You see what's going on? And this is in America. This is in America. This is after the continent of Pan. They're redoing the very things that Jaja sunk the continent for. Look at that. About to sacrifice him. See that? See this? Look at the savage cannibalism going on. And this is in America. pre-Columbus. And it coincides with what the OAHSPE is saying. What did the OAHSPE say? It says what? What did they say? And they discovered that the heavens of the land of Pan was beyond redemption because of the great numbers of the spirits of the cannibals and the multitude of fields. So the spirits of the cannibals and the multitude of fields had the people responding in this behavior. Eating their own, killing, and eating the organs, as you see here. And as you see here. See that? This is what caused the sinking of the continent of Pan, and they're practicing the very same things right here in the Americas during the reign of the Aztecs. And these are the evidence. Look at this. These niggas straight up getting down over here. Look at that. Look at this, whatever the fuck that's supposed to be. A goddamn deity, a drudge. Got these people eating. See what I'm saying? Look at this one. Look at that. Cutting niggas in half. What did the OAHSPE say? And they discovered that the heavens of the land of Pan was beyond redemption because of the great number of spirits of cannibalisms and the multitude of fetal. So this is going on now, recently times, which caused the sinking of this continent called Pan. Now, this is the Aztecs and them boys right up in here doing this cannibalism while the whole continent was sunk due to the behavior of cannibalism. So what does that tell you? What does that tell you? And what was the response for this? Look what Jaja said. This is the answer. All this is going on the continent. Now keep in mind the people, these Aztecs are cannibals. They're eating humans. But the OAHSPE said that, look, the spirits of the cannibals, meaning the people that are killing and eating flesh, when they die, their spirits return and inspire others to continue to practice. That's why the verse states the spirits of the cannibals and the multitude of fetals. Do they have a definition for fetals? Because some definitions may not relate. No, let's kill that one. Fetals means to engraft. When you engraft, a spirit engraft or possess your body. So these are the conditions of the continent of Pan, cannibalism at an all-time high. And then look what Jehovah said. So Jehovah said, now will I prune the earth and her heavens. Behold, the division of Pan, Waga, shall be what? Hewed off and cast beneath the waters of the ocean. Let's stop right there. Jaja said that the continent will be what? Hewed off and cast beneath the waters of the ocean. Hewed off, this is where they hedged around the continent and cast beneath the waters of the ocean. They sunk the whole continent in the Pacific. The Pacific Ocean, the same way that Arizona and all that was once an ocean, was once land. So it was once land here. All that Lemuria, the continent of Mu, Atlantis, all that is referring to this continent called Pan. And Japan is a relic and a piece of the continent, along with these other small islands you see in the midst of the continent, like the Hawaii Islands. Hawaii's islands is remnants of the continent of Pan. All these smaller islands you see right here are remnants of the continent of Pan. And if you notice, in places like Indonesia and in the regions over here, it's very unstable with a lot of earthquakes and mudslides, all type of shit going on. Look at the Solomon Islands. All these islands, these small islands, are remnants and pieces that survived the sinking of the continent of Pan. And now coming back to the OAHSPE, look what it states. Her heaven shall no longer be tenable by the spirits of destruction, for I will render its foundations, scatter them in the winds of heaven. Look what it states. Go therefore down, meaning the Etherian angels, go therefore down to the earth and provide nets and vatches for receiving the spirits of darkness, for receiving the spirits of mortals who shall perish in the waters. Also provide a place in my exalted heaven suitable for them. And you shall put walls around them in heaven so they cannot escape. But what? be weaned from evil. So Jehovah's not about to torture these niggas. He's about to wean them from evil because they're at a point where the rightful ruler, God, he can't do nothing with them. It's going to take special forces. It's going to take the SWAT team to deal with these cats because local police, law enforcement can't deal with it. That's what's going on here. Put it in layman terms. And here's the catch right here. And when you have come to the earth and its heavens, acquainted my gods and his lords with my decree, and say to them, thus saith Jehovah. This creator talking, thus saith Jehovah, behold. Behold. You know, if the creator start talking like that, you know you in some shit. If the angel of the Lord, or if the creator come and say, behold, behold, nigga, you better start trembling to your knees. Because there's some shit about to go down. Thus saith Jehovah, behold, behold, I will sink the land of Pan. Again, he's letting you know, I will sink the land of Waga, which is Pan, beneath the waters of the ocean. Again, here is a picture of Pan before. Here is a picture of Pan after. See that? What did Jaja say? I will sink the continent of Waga Pan beneath the waters. I will sink the land of Waga Pan beneath the waters of the ocean. And her heavens will I carry away to a place of my famine, where she shall no longer engulf my people in darkness. And Jehovah says, go, O God of heaven, and you, O Lord of Waga Pan, down to my chosen, the Ions, and say to them, thus saith the great spirit, the great Godal Ruach, behold, behold, I will sink the lands of the earth beneath the waters. See, now he's going to the mortals. I will, look what he's telling them, I will sink the lands of the earth beneath the ocean. See, in the Bible, they think the whole world got sunk in the water, but no, just a continent got compressed under the water, which raised the goddamn water levels and created a flood and a deluge. He says, I will sink the lands of the earth beneath the ocean. Why? Why? Because of the evil of the spirits of darkness. Hear me, O my chosen, and heed my commandment. Begin now, all hands, and build ships in all places, even the valleys and mountains, and let my faithful gather together within the ships, for my hand is surely stretched over the earth. Now look at that. Just imagine the Most High come and tell you niggas to bring ships because he about to sink the earth, which is the continent really referring. Now think of the panic-stricken fear in the people getting some news like that. Imagine you chilling on this bright sunny day and the angel of the Lord say, yo, my nigga, you got 30 days to build a ship. The creator gonna sink America and you one of the chosen to survive. Who ain't gonna shit in their pants hearing some shit like that? Let alone the day of the event. And one more again. And you shall also proclaim to the earth and her heavens that from the first, even in the ancient days, I proclaim my three worlds to all people, which are my corporeal worlds, which are the physical worlds we're living in now, the lower heavens, which belong to the spirits of the dead, belonging to it, and my Etherian worlds when you are exalted, which are in the firmament above. And I said, the first glory is of the earth, which is paradise, when man obeys my commandments. And the second glory, which is the atmospheric heaven, which is greater than the first, I created for the spirits of the dead. But I bound the lower heavens to the earth, so it would travel with it, so that the communion of both the dead with the living could add a glory to both. Look at that. So the creator letting you know that the heavens ride along with the earth so y'all can communicate, ancestors. But the upper heaven I made the highest of all glories, and I filled the Etherian firmament with countless Etherian worlds for the dwelling place of those who rose in the third resurrection. See that? And I sent down from my exalted heavens to the lower heavens and earth my holy angels, over whom I appointed gods and lords in the majesty of my dominion. See that? Creator appoint gods and lords. God ain't creator. In your Bible, in the beginning, God created that. Nigga, God is a worker. Nigga, he's a worker bee. You got the boss and you got the goddamn help. God is the help. You mixing the boss up with goddamn, you mixing God being the boss with creator. No, creator is the boss, God is the help. You remember in Scarface, when Scarface was trying to holler at the boss's wife, and she said, I don't fuck with the help. That nigga Al Pacino looked like, oh, hell no, nigga, I gotta step there. I gotta become a boss, nigga. I can't be no help. God is a helper. He helps the boss, to be clear. So all you niggas following the Bible, following that biblical God, nigga, you following the help. You worshiping the helper instead of worshiping the boss, nigga. Stop playing with me. Again, and I sent down from the exalted heavens to the lower heavens and earth my holy angels over whom I appointed gods and lords in the majesty of my dominions. And they came proclaiming these things in my name, teaching both mortals and spirits how to live so they could rise and inherit my illuminated world. See that? Rise and inherit my illuminated. That's where we going. I told you the destiny is to rise into the Ethereal world. Huh? And I sent from my exalted heavens to the lower heavens and earth my holy angels, over whom I appoint gods and lords in the majesty of my dominions. And they proclaim these things in my name, teaching both mortals and spirits how to live so they could rise and inherit my what? Illuminated worlds. Now let's goddamn get a precept to that. To rise and inherit my Ethereal worlds. Let's go to goddamn Book of Jaja, chapter 2, verse 2. You know where we're going with it. What Jaja say in chapter 2, verse 2? What Jaja say in chapter 2, verse 2? Jehovah said, I created the earth and fashioned it and placed it in the firmament, and by my presence brought man forth, the living being. I gave him a corporeal body so that he may learn corporeal things. And I made what? Death, so that he may rise in the firmament and inherit my Ethereal worlds. So let's stop right here. He said, I made death so that what? So that he could rise in the firmament and inherit my Ethereal world. What they doing, what the gods are doing. What the gods are doing. Teach both mortals and spirits how to live so they could what? Rise and inherit my Ethereal worlds. What does it say over here? He could rise in the firmament and inherit my Ethereal worlds. What are the Ethereal worlds, as we say? The Ethereal worlds are what? The all highest places I created are the Ethereal worlds. So y'all niggas could play hocus pocus on the flat earth trapped inside of a dome and run around with no escape. Bitch, we riding out to the Ethereal worlds, the all highest places. Nigga, we up out of here. Y'all niggas could stay locked in the dome and think that bullshit. Bitch, we up out of here. This is where we headed. This is where we headed, family. Create a gang. This is where we headed, goddammit. You know what I mean? If you rocking with Create a Gang, where them galaxies at? Nigga, this is where we headed. We out of here. We in the cosmos. We traveling. We going to visit the cosmos. These are the different colleges in the cosmos that we headed to. You feel me? We ain't stuck. We ain't stuck here. We ain't stuck on Earth. Bitch, we out here riding out, traveling and exploring creator's creation. Create all this creation for you niggas to be dumb, silent, dumb, to just look at that and be like, oh, okay. No. These creations, these are like states right here. That's like Jersey. That's like New York. When you in America, you're going to travel to these states, right? You just ain't going to stay stuck in one state. These are your states, your galactic states you're going to be traveling to. Right now, nigga, we in our solar system. One of these days, nigga, you're going to spit off ahead to Andromeda, next to Palladians, next to Alpha Draconis. Nigga, these are pit stops, no different than when you're going on a road trip. You live in Atlanta, bitch, we going to Cali. All right, we're going to stop in Arkansas. We're going to stop in Alabama on the way. That's how it works. I'm giving you a micro understanding of how the cosmic works. You niggas got to wake up and expand your thinking. That's what the creator is saying. Expand your thinking, man. I created you a God that's going to be eternal in creation, and you're going to transverse my creation and visit all my creation. And I have innumerous creation for you to explore. That's who I'm rocking with. If y'all niggas want to stay flattered on the earth, if y'all niggas want to be stuck in this shit, wherever that shit at, probably erase that bullshit by now. If y'all want to be stuck on the flat earth, y'all niggas can go ahead and do your thing. I ain't even mad at you at this point. But Create a Gang, you know how we rocking. Give me a one in the chat if you getting this understanding, family. We ain't playing no games. I give it to you raw and clear for a baby to goddamn understand. It's a blood clot vibes. Dig. We're gonna vibe out. I think we gave the people a good lesson today. We want to rhythm from the top. I think we gave the people a good lesson today. When I fulfill up a spliff and then push forward, you dig? You dig? It's a blood clot vibe. The creator is undefeated, understand that, and that's what we stand on. The principle of creator. You dig? See the family at the end, yeah? Cosmon Cal, yo. See what that? How could the sediment rocks of the Grand Canyon be produced if it wasn't underwater? Exactly. When you look at the Grand Canyon, you see the layers, you see the sediment, you see the waters, how the current would have been, you know what I mean, flowing against the rocks and shit. Yeah, man, it's undisputed over here. You know what I mean? Our references, our PhD is creative. My PhD is creative. And when I reference the source creator, my PhD, I go into creation, cosmology, and nature. Past evidence, cross references, we come up with our own conclusion. We don't depend on no other PhD to tell us shit. We respect the PhDs, but nigga, these niggas, what I noticed with Sonetta, a lot of them boys who be on Sonetta, them niggas don't think for themselves. They don't use their own mind. They just regurgitate what other people say and use that as the argument without using their own intellectual mind to come to a conclusion the same way the PhD came to a conclusion to explain the shit. Our conclusions come from our PhD, which is the creator. See what I'm saying? We deal with geography, we deal with cosmology, we deal with nature, we deal with science, and we deal with history, of course, but history is the story of anybody who's telling a story. History could be full of lies. But creation ain't gonna tell you no lies. The sun, moon, and stars ain't gonna tell you no lies. Nature ain't gonna tell you no lies. But a nigga who wrote a book can tell you a lie. Unless you investigate it and be caught in the snare if you don't read it. And the book gotta coincide with creation for the book to have merit. I just showed you the merit of the OAHSPE by breaking down them goddamn vortices. You feel me? Yes, family. It's a blood clot vibe. He said he showed me a very great sea. Now watch this. Let me go to the OAHSPE. You know I'm surgical with this bitch, Jake. And that's the beautiful about having knowledge about several sources and several books. You can just cross-reference shit. And that's what makes this whole thing all dope. You know what I mean? Here a little, there a little. Precept upon precept, here a little, there a little. You know how they talk. But he talking about he's seen the sea in the first heaven. Now I'm gonna show you a correlation to that in the OAHSPE with that sea in the first heaven. If you know OAHSPE, you know where I'm going with it. You know where I'm going with it. I'll give you a hint, Fraggle Patty. Now I just told you what book where I'm going at. See if you know what I'm about to pull out. Watch this. I got the phone going crazy. Hold up. Let me find this verse real quickie. Let me find this verse real quickly. I'm looking right at the shit. All right. We're going to go to the book of Fraggle Patty, chapter 6. We're going to the book of Fraggle Patty, chapter 6, verse 20. Watch this. Book of Fraggle Patty, where we at? Where we at? Chapter 6, verse 20. All right, let me get to chapter 6. You know I'm surgical with this, Jake. God damn, boy, these ones. stop hitting my line for nothing. Yeah, I can see, boy, my phone stay ringing. I'm like, nigga, let me get a break. I want to drop some knowledge to my OAHSPE family in the Critic Gang. That's the other side of the world. That's the other life calling me. I'm like, nigga, hold on. I'm busy. Y'all know how I give it up. All right. So the verse that God put, Medallion, peace to the God. Book of Enoch 3. And there I looked, and again I looked higher and saw the ether. And they placed me on the first heaven and showed me a very great sea. Now let's go to the book of Fragapati, chapter 6, verse 20. Let me share my screen. Hold up. There we go. Let me see. Let me take the verse off so y'all can see. But keep in mind, I'm dealing with, and they placed me on the first heaven and showed me a very great sea. Now, when we go to the OAHSPE, book of Fragapati, chapter 6, verse 20, look what it states. After this, Fragapati descend to the next plateau. What's what it state? The first grade of plateau above the earth called OAHSPE, signifying land and sky world, meant for the first spirit life after mortal death. OAHSPE has its foundation on the earth and is undiluted with mountains and valleys like the earth. Look what it states, key point, having seas over the corporeal seas. See that? Having seas over the, so they got oceans above us. So when people say, oh, you know, there's water in the atmosphere, don't think them niggas is too far-fetched. Having seas over the corporeal seas. See that? So what the brother just brought out about the first resurrection, OAHSPE is confirming that. It says, the first great plateau above the earth was called OAHSPE, signifying sky and land world. It has its foundation on the earth and it is undiluted with mountains and valleys like the earth, having seas over the corporeal seas. And the outer surface of OAHSPE is from 20 to 100 miles above the earth's surface. And in like manner, and in the manner of all spirit world, it is inhabited within and without. See that? It's inhabited within and without. But look, but the first resurrection were within it and on the earth's surface. And the second resurrection mostly on the plateaus of the upper surface. So here, that verse is coinciding with the brother was saying about Enoch having and experiencing and seeing the first heaven and the sea while beholding the ether above. See that? That's how you make shit make sense. Precept upon precept, here a little, there a little. You feel me? Yes, family. It's a blood clot vibes. That's an interesting point. You know what? I would consider those times with the arc cycles. When the Earth is traveling through the Etherian lights, those Etherian lights will definitely be on some retrograde energy type shit. Feel me? It's some blood clot vibes. But yes, family, you know how we do. Give me a chat if you get this understanding, because I'm about to push out. I got some things to do. I got some filming to do. People hit my line crazy right now. Your boy Selah Shalom came through to drop some knowledge, show you that Creator is undefeated. We don't worship no God, Lords, and Saviors, because we understand that we will become God, Lords, and Saviors as we progress in our spiritual ascension. And with that, your boy Selah Shalom is up out of here, and I'm going to see you next time. Salute. It's a blood clot vibe.